there. Hey. Oh, hey there, my Dorito posters. Are you ready? Alright, now, welcome on in. Alright, now, let's play a little bit of Bloodstained, huh? What? Why are there drops? Ah. Yeah, get out of here. Dismiss. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I promise it's not intentional. Bloodstained, Ritual of Night. Oh, whoa. I got the game volume set way too high for this. Alright, just let me turn it down just a little bit. Sorry, I had it up for a Yumiya last night. Yeah, I'm actually getting close to ending Yumiya soon. Of course, I'm gonna need to, make everything that I'm gonna make in Yumiya right now. Yeah, I need to make items for endgame, so yeah. So that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes with that. In case you're wondering. Alright, now. Wait, did I unlock the explicit recipes? Wait, I don't remember if I did or not. Alright, just let me go back just a little bit. I don't remember if I got that. I'm sorry, I think I kind of spaced when I got over there. I think I may have forgot to do that. Alright, I'll just double check that. Then again, I probably should have picked it. I should have probably picked the one that was a little bit closer. Now that I'm thinking about it, oh well, please forgive me. Please forgive me, I'm a bit, played right now. I'm kind of spacing out right now, so you'll excuse me if I'm not exactly feeling up to the level I should be. Alright, now, to get the supreme recipes. Yes, and I know I will have to make a ton of sauce later. Hopefully I have enough materials to do all that. Yeah, the breakable wall was right here. It appears I have gotten it. Yeah, I have gotten that. Right, that was where the recipe was, so it appears I got that. Alright, just making sure. Alright, just making sure. Alright. Alright, now, quickest route to Twin Dragon Towers? Yeah, since Twin Dragon Towers contains an item that I'm gonna need. Obviously it's gonna be the Spikebreaker armor. I mean, it's not quite the Spikebreaker armor, it's more like, Spike Immunity armor. So, yeah, it's basically Spikebreaker, though. Yeah, Spikebreaker, didn't break spikes. Which, kind of is a missed opportunity if I'm gonna, be completely honest. Yeah, I would love the idea of, breaking spikes with it. Alright, now, and Spikebreaker is all the way up here. Yeah, be very careful about the spikes in the ceiling. Whatever you do, be careful of the spikes on the ceiling. Right, I will not be going under there because, I kind of got stuck there without... For some reason, I got stuck under there, yeah. I got it. It appears to be... Under there kind of seems a little bugged. You could even say, ugh, it's a glitch, dude. You could even say, it's like silly bug, dude. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably not. I'm sure it's not. It's not really anything. Maybe it's like messing around with the... Look at this. I'm like actively clipping through that section to that. Look at that. My footsies are clipping. Alright, that's kind of unfortunate. Alright, now, I remember there being something else up here. I'm probably not going to use it, but, it's the Valkyrie. Let's see, it's one of the pieces of the Valkyrie gear. Let's see, which one was it again? let's see, the Valkyrie's sword was hidden in that one, you know, section that I need, you know, dimension shift for. And, you know, the crown, I'm pretty sure it's, you know, in the room with, you know, Veil for. You know, the guy that you know, the guy in the top hat that's made of coins. Yeah, not a, yeah. I believe, yeah, Veil for was, you know, one of the bosses in, you know, Curse of the Moon 1. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I thought he was like one of the cooler, I thought he was like one of the cool bosses in that game. He was like one of the bosses in that game, and that was pretty cool. Kind of looking forward to, you know, when they make, you know, Ritual at Night too. You know, yeah. You know, there's still enemies from you know, Curse of the Moon 1 that, you know, they didn't add to this game. You know, like those scissor guys. Yeah, those scissor guys that, you know, kind of remind me of, you know, Scissor Man. You know, that's a Clock Tower reference, in case you're wondering. Yeah, I never actually played Clock Tower, but, you know, I remember seeing Chontron play it back in the day. You know, back when, you know, he used to actually play video games. Yeah, back when he actually used to play video games. Yeah, I don't understand why he, you know, quit doing that. I don't understand why he quit doing that. Back when, you know, he used to play video games instead of, you know, doing meme reaction, instead of doing, you know, reactions to weird commercials and, you know, all that. Yeah, I kind of miss him doing that. Oh right, yeah. Oh yeah, we should go to the cathedral next. There is one more thing I need to grab before yeah, there are a couple things I still need to grab before I, you know, go towards the Oriental Lab. Whoops. Well, I got a little too careless there. Alright, I probably should have been paying attention, sorry. Be careful. Actually, color barbers are basically nothing right now. Here, Barrel. Alright, that sword is pretty powerful. Yeah, it's basically the Vorpal sword. Yeah, lots of people like to think it's, you know, super duper OP and broken. I'm kind of like, you know, it's just basically the Vorpal sword. It's just basically a nerf Vorpal sword. Oh hey, alright, there's Rickle Wall right here. That I kind of missed. Cool, I got an HP max up. Alright, now, yeah, just step on the bad guys. Step on me. I mean, we are playing a succubus, and you know, I would like Miriam to dominate me, or I mean, I can totally, you know, take Miriam, you know, in the fight. Yeah, I can take, I can take on like five ladies at once. You know, in a fight. Yeah, in a fight. I mean that. Yeah, in a fight. Alright, I remember there being stuff inside bells. Alright, do I have everything on the map? Yeah, I gotta remember, you know, I'm... Alright, now drop inside the bell. Yeah, the bells usually contain, you know, HP ups and HP maxes. Alright, and this hallway is a little bit of pain, you know, whenever you're in that harder difficulty. Oh, hey, an optimizer shard that I don't need. Alright, optimizer shard, which I don't need. And over there is, you know, probably one of the easier ways to get light resist. Not that there's too many enemies that use light. I mean, Dominic and Bale do have light attacks. Yeah, so I guess it's relevant for them. But for the majority of the game, you know, most enemies don't use light. Yeah, most of the enemies in this game don't use light. Oh yeah, I should have probably grabbed that Silver Knight right there. Kinda forgot to grab that. Yeah, I kinda missed that right there. Yeah, Miriam is such a cool protagonist. I like her a lot. Mm, I mean, it's yeah. The roses on her base form, are kind of strange looking at first until you realize they're kind of crystals that are basically growing in her body, and I'm pretty sure that particular pattern on her body is kind of at least I'm pretty sure Johannes mentioned I'm pretty sure, yeah, I remember Miriam mentioning that Johannes came up with a method to kind of halt the corruption that, absorbing, shards of demon shards, causes. Yeah, I think it has something to do with that. Yeah, it doesn't exactly say that, though. The game doesn't really say that. Alright, I will temporarily take off the succubus outfits. Yeah, I kind of have to do it for this section. It's kind of forced. Since I kind of need the Aegeus plate to, advance. Yeah, I kind of need the Aegeus plate to advance, so... Yeah, I kind of need the Aegeus plate to kind of advance. Since I need... Right now, I need to, inverting, of course, this section, needs every bit of all the power-ups. Alright, now we should be clear. Right now, I should be clear of spikes. Yeah, spikes are kind of, Alright. I've heard that there's people who've gotten through those spikes somehow. Yeah, no doubt you can. The game has some exploits you can do. So if you feel like you want to speedrun the game, you certainly can. In fact, people have found ways to basically clip into the final dungeon. Yeah, I don't know if the method that, I'm gonna reference, is still in the game, but somebody found a way where you could use reflector ray and, summon chair to kind of clip near, where you go in the hall before the train. Yeah, and they kind of found out you can just clip right into the final dungeon. Which is kind of funny, really. Kind of funny you can do that. Kind of funny there was a way you could do that. Right, I will be grinding on those cows later on. Of course, I will find a little bit of a better spot to do that. Also, I have to come back here, but, I also will come back here when I get, Dimension Shift. Yeah, that's what it was called. Yeah, I kind of needed to, do stuff. I kind of needed to get the final Benjamin. Alright, and there's lots of Gustians in here. Honestly, they're kind of a nuisance, really. Yeah, they're a little bit of a nuisance. Especially in really high difficulty. They're, like, they're not nice. They're already pretty hard hit. They're decently hard hitting enemies on normal mode. Which is the mode I play because I'm a filthy casual scrub who, is not very good at video games. And, I like to pretend that, I'm better at them than I really am. Well, at least I don't pretend as much as, DSP. Yeah, DSP is kind of somebody who's rather convinced themselves they're good at video games when they're really not. Yeah. They kind of, if I'm gonna be honest, DSP Gaming has kind of convinced themselves that they're way better at video games than they actually are, and, and, it's pretty funny, but, at the same time, it's kind of incredibly sad. Alright, now. Alright, here's one. Alright, now. Ooh, we need bovine plumes. And we got the ramen recipes. Alright, now, I will be trying to, get all the shards in the game. Because you do get, Jeebel's glasses, which is, one of the most overpowered items in the entire game. Alright, lightning is really not doing it this time. There's a shard I need. Also, I need an item called Flying Beef from these guys. Yeah, and let me tell you, Flying Beef is, you know, one of the most ridiculously rare items in the entire game, so it's gonna take forever for that to drop. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get 9 shards before even 1 drops. Yeah, even if I equip 2 Plunder's Ring, it's gonna take forever. Oh well, no time like the present, I guess. I will certainly try. Yeah, since I kind of need Flying Beef for a couple recipes. Really, all I really need is 1, really. All I really need is 1, and then I'm gonna, just, take care. Then I'm just gonna, ah, well, I do need more bovine plumes anyway, so I might as well grind this enemy anyway. Yeah, and also their shard also unlocks, a shard that, is in the shop that you can only get at the shop. See, I got a 2nd shard already without and 1 Flying Beef has not dropped. Yeah, the Oleanders are a little bit weaker, so it's kind of taking more hits. Luckily, boots are a decently fast weapon with decent range. It's sort of like a short sword, but it's a little bit like a short sword, I guess. Yeah, short swords are probably my favorite weapon in this game. Are probably my favorite weapon type in this game. They just have the right, balance of, speed and power. Yeah, boots are also pretty balanced as well. Plus, I like that you can turn your slide and kick bounce, and I like that they power up your slide and kick bounce. So hey, if you want to jump on enemies, if you want to pounce on enemies like your Mario, you can do that if you really want to. It's pretty fun. Oh, we got a Flying Beef. Nice, we got a Flying Beef. Wow, I wasn't expecting it to drop so soon. Wow, I actually got it before I got like 9 shards. Alright, now, I know there's a recipe that uses like 2 Flying Beef. Alright, now, let's see if I can get a 2nd one. Alright, I might as well, at least get more more bovine plumes. Yeah, alright. Oh wait, I got another Flying Beef, nice. Wow, that was, that was very quick. That was much quicker than any other time I've ever gotten it. Huh. I was not expecting it to be that easy. I was definitely not expecting it to be that easy. Hey, Beer, having a bit... No, whoops. I need to go this way first. Right now, I remember. Also, I also need to grind these guys a bit for demon horns. I also have augment strength, which is kind of nice, but not really necessary. I do need demon horns, though. Yeah, because I need to power up Red Remembrance with that. I also would like them to drop your shard, too. Alright, there we go. Alright, we got one of the augment strength shards. That's pretty nice. Yeah, getting a little spicy attack boost would be pretty helpful. Sadly, you can't really power up the augment shards until, basically the end of the game, basically. Since, they require items off of endgame monsters that are, like found in Glacial Tomb and, Den of Behemoths. Which, kind of sucks. Kind of sucks a little bit, but, whatever. Man, they'd be so spicy if not for that fact. Maybe they'd be pretty spicy if not for that, small little fact. Succubus in the Oriental Lab? Oh, and Ben, I'm not a succubus, and, Miriam, is just dressed in, sexy cosplay. I mean, if I'm gonna look at Miriam for the rest of the game, I might as well have her look sexy. Again, I do have the option to play as Magical Girl as well. Although Magical Girl gameplay would just be me spamming spells mostly. Pretty much what I'm doing right now. And by spamming spells, it mostly means just spamming lightning over and over. Yeah, it basically just means spam lightning. I mean, why not? Why not? The chain lightning is pretty much the best spell in the game. Alright, I know these ninjas can drop, Crimsonite. I do need Crimsonite. I wish ninjas were a little more predictable in their movements. Yeah, I kinda want the... Oh, whoa, what are you doing? Get out of here. Yeah, hey, Annabelle, I got good news. I got, like, the flying beasts are now super easy. So, I don't need to grind those. Yeah, usually those are, like, such a grind. Usually getting the flying beast is, like an insane grind. Alright, now. Yeah, you kind of know what I mean, right? Alright, Shinobi Garb. I mean, ninjas are cool and everything, but, yeah, it kind of reminds me that Naruto had so much promise, because the fights were, very strategic and cool, in early Naruto. Until it basically became, discount, Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, my favorite tactic of a ninja is, hey, just drop a tactical nuke on everybody. I mean, it may not be the most subtle way to do, be a, highly trained assassin, but, it's probably the most effective way of dealing with anything that needs to be dealt with. Yeah, and, I have, friends that, insist that, the nuclear option is the best option for everything. I kinda, yeah. So, yeah. Annabelle, you're one of those friends, aren't you? Sorry, I do have to get the shard from the cat, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Oh, wait, Crimsonite. Yeah, I did say I needed that. Alright, yeah, I did say I needed that, yeah. Alright, now blow up all the enemies. Alright, now. I'm not exactly sure what Crimsonite even is, but, Dragon Quest 11 says it's, like, super rare and all that. And, this game insists that it's rare, so I'll believe it's some sort of legendary metal. Maybe it's sort of like Orichalcum maybe it's like Mithril or Orichalcum. Maybe there's like a myth of a ninja or something that maybe there's like a myth of some sort of legendary warrior that you hear something of Crimsonite slay the big bad evil guy, yeah. But yeah. Alright, come on, ninja. Go ninja, go. Kinda reminds me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. The live action one. The good live action one, yeah. Yeah, there was the good live action one, the sequel to the good live action one, the, bad sequel to the sequel. And of course there was, the other bad, there was the other bad one. Yeah, we don't, yeah, it's a good thing there's only like three, there's only like three, live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. And one of them, and none of them were directed by Michael Bay or whatever. I'm just glad, Michael Bay never got his hands on it. Yeah, he certainly, never found a, infinite money glitch with, another popular, American franchise, based on another popular franchise. That he basically used as an infinite money glitch. And, Man, could you imagine it? Could you imagine him doing that? Yeah, imagine doing something like Transformers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Michael Bay. Actually, I kid, but yeah, the early live-action Transformers movies were okay and all that. But then they really started milking them a whole bunch. Then they really started milking them. And I think they kind of overstayed it, and yeah. And yeah. And some of the sequels were of debatable quality. I know, we got ninjas. We got ninjas and are using their famous, ninja technique of summoning fire. That's a thing that real ninjas can do, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, ninjas have all sorts of, supernatural abilities with all their, sneaky ninja tricks. I know. Alright, grab the item. Oh, wait, Manju. Yeah, we had to break at Tegu's nose. Yeah. But, breaking at Tegu's nose kind of reminds me of, the Pokemon anime. Yeah, funny thing about the Pokemon anime, yeah, there was a scene where Ash was being very boastful and all that, and he kind of got a long nose, and since people in America were familiar with Pinocchio, they thought he was lying or something, which didn't really make any sense, given the context of what was going on, since he was clearly being boastful. Yeah, it wasn't until, much later that I learned basically it was because it was actually, based on Tegu's. And also he was being boastful, of course. Yeah, there's just some things that are kind of lost in, cultural context, yeah. Just some things that are lost in cultural context, Oh, cool, I'm like level 75. Yeah, by the way, why am I level 75? It's because, it's because I grind. It's because I grinded for a whole bunch of shards, yeah. Alright, Sengetsu.
I've been waiting for you, Miriam.
The shard binders should be struck from existence.
Correct. But I am here to tell.
I have no quarrel with you, son.
Perhaps not. But carnage is the language I speak. If we are to come to an understanding, this is how we do it. Now, fight as if your life depended on it.
Very bit, yeah. Carnage is the only language I understand. Much to be fair, I respect Sengetsu for that. Oh no, ow. I'm about to get hit for big damage. Ow. Alright, I got hit for massive damage. I don't know, what's he doing? Alright, stop trying to chain me. He's trying to chain me like some of my villains do on a Friday night. Ow. I know, ow. Spam lightning, spam lightning. Lightning. Yeah, lightning is actually better for, human enemies. Enough. How do you expect me to fight as if my life depends on it when you are clearly not? What? You were holding back. You kind of hit really hard for somebody who was holding back. I have a gift for you. Yes, we got ourselves a weed stick. Nice. I rag on, katanas, but, they're pretty iconic and all that. But, spears are much better. Spears are much better than, both swords and katanas. Hey there, Agent Ness. Hey, Agent Ness, what's up? Agent Ness, what's up? Ow. Yeah, we just blew past, Sengetsu too. So he wasn't super hard. He, hit pretty hard though, but we managed to beat him. Alright now we need to go all the way back that way to, the warp point. Yeah, I kinda feel alright now. Yeah, alright now. I'm doing good, how am I? I'm doing okay. Alright now. Back before I put on the VTuber, nobody cared who I was. Nobody cared who I was until I put on the VTuber model. Mm. Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. Yeah, sorry, that's a little bit of Boss King humor. You guys remember the Boss King, right? Impossible here. Oh. Alright, now go upside down. Alright, first and foremost for this fight, go upside down. You'll definitely want to, because, his attacks really sting. Yeah, Master Carpenter's attacks really sting. And he likes to throw those knives at you, plus he'll build those demon altars. Which may be a good thing, because we may be able to get a shard off the demon lords and also maybe a fiend heart. Sadly, the fiend hearts are like one of the rarest items, are also a pretty rare item, sort of like, the flying beef. Yeah, I killed like tons and tons of demon lords, and I rarely get any of them. Alright, pigs. Alright, pigs, show them that pork toad dork. Oh hey, we got the shard off it, nice. Oh hey, we got the demon lord shard off the second attempt. Nice. Come on, pigs. Come on, pigs. Get him. Get him, my spiny. Get him, my spine. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we got the shard right. We got the shard right off the bat. Nice. Cool, we got the shard. Oh, Master Carpenter? Master Carpenter, are you okay? Okay, I think, Master Carpenter's death animation might be a little bugged. I'm trying to get Cyberpunk's 2077. Well, speaking of Cyberpunk 2077, I think Master Carpenter's death animation is a little bugged here. Alright, that was pretty funny, not gonna lie. Oh hey, neat thing about this fight is you can keep replaying it over and over and over again. You can with basically you can also do that with Revenant and Millionaire's Bane as well. Yeah, there are like a bunch of drops you can get off the enemies there. Alright, you can mostly do it for shards and drops, really. Yeah, the shards off these guys are off the super boss enemies are not guaranteed, so you may want to do that. Go my pigs. Go my pigs. Show them that pork don't dork. Another adversary successfully pure. Yeah. Yeah, funny enough, that buzzsaw right there as a background object and does not actually hurt you in a fight. Yeah, I would think it would hurt you. Yeah, most platformers have taught me that, but going up knowing near buzzsaws is, kind of a bad idea. Let me get him. Nice, we got some imbued bones, which is pretty nice. Alright, I think that's enough of Master Carpenter for now. I mean, his shard is, very good if you can get it. I mean, Master Carpenter's shard is very good if you can get 9 of them. Yeah, basically it lets you shotgun out a bunch of, chisels that, can be fired out like a machine gun. It's honestly a pretty fun way to take out the final boss. It's a pretty good method of taking out the final boss. Yeah, I won't be grinding for that though. Not this time. Oh wow, Huh. I noticed my sparkle. Alright. Alright, I'm noticing my sparkles and... Alright, now I'm noticing my sparkles and, all that are, kind of bugged. Alright, I noticed Regenerate and Detective Eye are kind of bugged. Alright, there we go. There they are. I mean, they looked like they were still operational, but they weren't. Alright, I got the Zangetsu's, special sword. Alright, now, I think... Alright, did I even get one Misu or anything? Did I even get one Misu, really? Yeah, Misu is kind of a pain, because, it only get, you can only get it from, the treasure chest in the Oriental Lab. Which means I may have to, break down some.
So, what'll it be?
I need to break some. Alright, meat hot pot. Right, that's not the dish I'm looking for. Right now, miso broth. Oh, I did get one miso.
I'll go with this.
I did get one miso.
Great. I'll go with
Right
this.
now, I'll just cook a whole bunch of the... Now, let's cook basically all the broths.
I'll go with this.
Now, cook all the broth.
Great.
Oh, yeah, I should have cooked this too.
I'll go with this.
Alright, what do I need? Flying beef. I need curry sauce. Oh, I need fell leaves, don't I? I need miso cutlet too. Right, I need miso for miso cutlet. And I need fell leaves. Now, the good news is I know how to get the fell leaves. So it shouldn't be too hard to get that. Oh, here we go. Alright, I'll get the exquisite steak so I can get the hot pot.
Great.
Alright, it's time to make myself some, noodles.
I'll go with this.
Alright, I will be buying a couple, exquisite steaks later. In fact, I'll probably do that real soon. Oh yeah, alright, I needed that sauce.
I'll go with this.
Alright, now let's review what I need. Alright, first and foremost, I need to get dark matter. And I need to get some exquisite steak to break down for, flying beef. Then I'll need... Alright, I'll need to get some dark matters and break those down too. Alright now.
Zon gets
Alright. Oh, please excuse me, I'm sorry. Alright now.
I have
Alright, now I need... Oh wait, I got plenty of dark matters. Right, never mind, I got plenty of dark matters. Now, where's the exquisite steak? I need a bunch of exquisite steaks.
Is this many thanks?
I need a couple of those.
Is the many thanks?
Oh yeah, I did say I needed, I did say I needed miso broth, didn't I? Right now, I might as well buy a couple of those.
Many thanks.
Alright, I think I'm all set for food.
Thank.
I think oh wait, I needed curry sauce, didn't I? I need curry sauce, yeah. I almost forgot about that.
Have
Yeah, good thing I caught that. I need curry sauce for beef on curry. Which is another dish that, needs flying beef. Yeah, funny enough, I did get flying beef rather easily. In the PS4 version, I remember it taking quite a while to get it.
What'll it be?
Alright, let's break down a couple of these. For that sweet flying beef. Alright, let's break down a couple of these dark matters.
I'll go with this.
And then let's break down a couple of those miso broths.
I'll go with this.
Now I should have everything I need for all the food. Alright, get that beef on curry. Alright, get all the ramen.
I'll go with this.
Get all the ramen.
Great.
Get the miso cutlet.
I'll go with this.
And also get the meat hot pot. Why not?
I'll go with this.
Get everything. Get all the food. Right now, all the food has been obtained. All the food in the game has been obtained. I don't think there's any more food I can get. Oh yeah, before I forget, I might as well eat all the food.
Delicious. Scrumptious.
I'll just eat up all the food.
Scrumptious. Scrumptious. Scrumptious.
Eat up all the food for all the stat boosts.
Scrumptious.
Yeah, if you don't eat food for the first time, you do get a permanent stat boost. Well, obviously, don't eat the dark matter. That just damages you.
I have something.
Yeah, dark matter, unfortunately, is sort of like, the rusted tin or the rotten meat or, the spoiled milk. It's not something you're supposed to eat.
Is this thank you? Is this
Alright, I remember it being one of the miso dishes.
Is the thank you? Is
I remember I needed a hot pot too.
Is many thanks. Thank you.
Alright, it's the one with the green herb in it, soy ramen. Alright, she gave me the gambler's ring, which is pretty nice. Food that falls apart. Mina, Shadow?
Suppose
Okay.
stick around.
Right now, what is she wanting? Wait, I'm not quite sure. No, that's not it.
I'm
Right, she's wanting something that I'm
Hi.
not entirely sure what it is. Right now, what sort of food, kind of looks like that?
Is this thank you? Thank
Right now, I'm poor. Alright, now,
What are you looking to
I
buy?
need to find the right food. Oh wait, it's a simmered for Naeus, isn't it?
Is this many thanks?
Alright, I might as well grab that. Oops, that's the wrong food. Right now, where's the simmered for Naeus? I kind of figured it looked the same. Dan shift, that, is up, that's, very useful. Alright, she's wanting a beef pot pot.
Did you
No, wait, it's not that?
don't- Did you
Right, it's Sakiyoki. I remember one of her fits was, that.
is that
Something life-changing, and she's wanting the exquisite steak.
did you
Right, luckily I have one of those. And she gives you a special hat for all that trouble. That, basically gives you the ability to have infinite ammo. Yeah, I don't think I'll be using that in this playthrough, though. I don't think I'll be using Recycle Hat in this playthrough, though. You might as well grab the rice, even though we don't need any food anymore. Ah, well, that's not entirely true. We could always use it for, we could always use it for healing. Right now, and, oh yeah, I do have some stuff I need to upgrade too. Let's upgrade, what we can.
So, what'll it be?
Alright, Optimizer, obviously needs bovine plumes.
I'll go with this.
Honestly, upgrade, Red Remembrance.
I'll go with this.
Then, upgrade Money as Power.
This. I'll go with this.
Right now, what do I need? What do I need for Money as Power? I need Ori Halcom. Ugh. Well, that's painful. Alright. Ori Halcom is, also super rare, too. Yeah, Ori Halcom is, also real rare, too.
Got it.
Alright, good thing I got another Crimsonite.
Here's what I've
Alright, I got a Big Spite. Alright, all of them are based, and all the ones that are left are basically, I have to beat this certain, mini-boss. Yeah, I was planning on beating, Revenant, Millionaire's Bane anyway. So no big deal to do that. And of course, I gotta remember their shards are not guaranteed, unfortunately. None of the, yeah, they're a lot like, the 8-bit Overlord in that their shards are not guaranteed, unfortunately. But, however, they are much easier to get than, 8-bit Overlord, since you don't have to do, the entire dungeon. You don't have to do an entire, super boss dungeon over and over and over again to try and get it. Yeah, by the way, I do have 8-bit Overlord. I'm not gonna be bothering getting 9 of those now. No, I already had my share. I already had my fill of that, getting 9 of those, dang resist curse shards on that frickin' train. Alright, for this fight, I'm gonna take off my familiar. Yeah, I have a reason for doing that. And of course, I need to put on a different weapon. Yeah, I'm not gonna put on my poison boots this time. Yeah, we need to put on the weeb stick. Yeah, we kinda need that. That's, yeah.
What took you so long?
I am not here to join you.
You presume wrongly.
What?
I swore to you that I would stop you if your Shardbinder power ever manifests.
Please.
I do. I've known it since our meeting on the galleon.
Fool.
As you
Alright, now time to take on Jable. Alright, and he starts off with ice. Oh, well, watch out. Alright, now cut the red moon. We need to cut the red moon to free him. Oh, we beat Jable with no damage. Nice.
At last.
Wait, Alfred, where'd you come from?
Mine.
Oh no, oh no. Greenberry's after him. Oh no. Be careful, Greenberry is very dangerous. I mean, she's like a Grand Marquise of Hell or whatever. Or whatever Greenberry's rank is, you know, in the Argothea.
I know.
No, poor Jable, no. Rip Jable. Ripperoni, rest in pepperonis.
Yes.
If you plan to destroy,
Then I need
Gremory will tracking Gremory.
The moon, you mean? I'll try it. Well, where have we seen a red moon before? Where have we seen a scary looking red moon? Ugh, red moon, ugh. Yeah, Endemali, I Endemali do not like red moonlight, no. Ugh. I'm already feeling kind of out of it from being exposed to red moonlight, so, ugh. I hope that, you know, Endemali doesn't make an appearance. Yeah, no, that would be, you know, very bad since you know, since she's just basically, you know, she's basically edgy Endemali. She's like the version of Endemali that will you know call you a nerd. And will also pick fights with the villains, you know, prove that she is the superior, you know, evil. After all, Endemali is the superior evil. That's why she took on Yami that one time. Black Sun, we want Red Moon. We want, you know, Red Moonlight. Yeah, Endemali, you know, gets corrupted by Red Moonlight, you know, that kind of awakens, you know, Endemali. In fact, you know, playing Succubus is kind of a little bit like Endemali, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, the reason we have on the Succubus outfit is because Maria was, you know, a pure innocent magical girl before she absorbed a shard from a tentacle monster. Yeah, which coincidentally, the first shard in the entire game that you'll get is from a tentacle monster. Kind of funny that. Yeah, alright, the less I say about this, probably the better. Oh no, the red moonlight! No! Get it out of here! Get that red moonlight out of here! No! No, no red moonlight! Get out of your red moonlight! Get out, get out, get out! Re. Alright, now, we must cut the red moon in twain. You're speaking sus language. What are you talking about? I'm not sus. Yeah, uh-oh. Yeah, I'm not sus. That is, you know, fake news. I am not speaking sus language. That is, you know, a bunch of fake news. I am 100% not sus. Yeah, you know, it's just that, you know, and besides, you know, corruption arcs are very common, you know, in magical girl stories, and, you know, You gotta purify that with the power of friendship and with the power of, you know, friendship, yeah. And also sometimes this gun I just found. In fact, if there was a magical girl in America, she'd probably be Pekini, yeah. Yeah, it turns out the effective way to kill, you know, aliens and monsters is just to, you know, it's just to take out an AK-47. Or, you know, an M16. That's an effective way to kill them. Also, which version of Steam Deck did I get? You know, the 1 terabyte version, yeah.
What are we transmuting?
No, wait, I kind of forgot to do something, so I need to go back. Yeah, I kind of need to go back because I kind of forgot to do something. I kind of forgot to make the high jump shard. And, you know, I kind of need the high jump shard for, you know, I kind of need the high jump shard for, you know, the Den of Behemoth, since it's kind of mandatory for that dungeon. Yeah, basically I got the 1 terabyte version. You know, and alright. Funny enough, I did, you know, I did buy Baldur's Gate 3, and it kind of took up most of it. And I did get a 1 terabyte card, though. Yeah. Yeah, given the current landscape of, you know, AAA consoles, you can kind of see why I might, you know, want to get a Steam Deck. One thing I'll say about the Bloodstained is I respect him for sticking to his word and not going Epic exclusive. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Mr. Ego, you know, Mr. Ego is definitely, you know, it's definitely, you know, delivered on his promises. You know, unlike a certain, you know, unlike, you know, that one game that, you know, copied the floppy of Mega Man. And, you know, did it all wrong. Yeah, unlike that game, you know, this game was good. This game definitely feels like it plays like Castlevania. If I were honest, I would have bought, you know, the 500 upgraded 2 terabyte. Yeah, I'm kind of considering doing that. I'm kind of considering, you know, getting a 2 terabyte card, you know, someday. I just kind of wish that wasn't so, you know, expensive. Yeah, I should definitely do that one day, though. Yeah, I gotta have plenty. Yeah, since some games seem to be, you know, rather high and, you know, rather high. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is good and all, but, you know, it kind of takes up a lot. I've heard about that Mega Man. Yeah, poor bastards. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, Mighty Number 9 was not very good. I mean, Ina had fun with it, but, you know, some versions of, you know, Mighty Number 9 literally can brick consoles.
I brought your apprentice like you.
Yeah, Green Marine. Who did this to you? Thank you, Sengetsu. Johannes, I beg you, a boon of you. What? Alright, now, Sengetsu, what's going on? You have a 5-year be what a good way to start you off, simple then upgraded.
Alfred was our enemy.
Yeah.
Seems so keen on pitting me against.
Unfortunately, he confirmed my suspicion, which is Dominic has been manipulating us the whole time, but I'm not certain why. Yeah, Dominic turns out to be the bad guy. Oh no. Yeah. And then she had a redemption arc in this game, and, you know, became a partner, and, you know, Curse of the Moon 2.
Of all the Alfred feared,
Why did
would you
I mean, Dominic already won. You and Johannes won over both of Johannes and, you know, Miriam. Plus, you know, Miriam kind of thought, you know, Alfred was still kind of involved with the old alchemy scheme. Plus, it didn't help that Alfred was basically demanding the book, with, you know, trying to be reasonable. No, Alfred's dead. No, poor Alfred. Alright, Ripperoni, rest in pepperonis. Probably should have done a little bit more to try and be reasonable. You know, it feels like, you know, everybody, if they, you know, were reasonable, they'd probably, you know, avoid so much tragedy in this game.
that is when
Then again, you know, Jeeble was under mind control. Alfred was, you know, kind of set up against us. But it turned out he was a good dude in the end. He kind of made some... if he didn't make any mistakes back when he was in the Alchemy Guild, during the first Demon Castle summoning, he probably would have. Miriam might have, trusted him a little bit more. Yeah, Miriam might have trusted him a little bit more. Which I really can't blame her. Well, I kind of can't blame her for that. Considering the Shardbinder experiments were basically, hooray for human experimentation. And, we lost all, and, the Alchemy Guild was like, we need to get that, we need to justify it, we need to get that money. So we need to do, like, a human experimentation to get that money. Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, I definitely should have, got the 2 terabyte card for, the Steam Deck, though. I kinda feel like I'm gonna need it. Oh well, if first comes to worst, I'll get one sometime later. When I can obviously afford it, because, 2 terabyte cards are, definitely not cheap. Oh, I got a Cashmere. Alright, I'm getting lots of rare items, very easily, yeah. It's never happened to me when I was playing this on the PS4. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Oh well. Alright, now watch out for this rock. Underneath it is, man-eating plants. Underneath it is a giant, muggle weed. Yeah, they do drop felled leaves, which you can use to make those ramens if you really want to. Oh boy, and over here is, the Abyssal Guardian. We remember when this guy was a boss. Remember when, the Abyssal Guardian was a boss? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Alright, get out here. I got a game you should play? Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Okay, what game are you gonna recommend? Alright, now. Jump? Jump? Right now, what game are you gonna recommend? I know, toads. Giant toads. Giant toads, ugh. I mean, toads are basically slimy and gross and, covered in poison. Yeah. Plus, toads and frogs really when normies touch them. Yeah, in fact, don't touch toads at all. Yeah, toads kind of have, this thing where they kind of, produce poison on them, and, that can be, very dangerous. That can, make you sick. Yeah, you're gonna have to wash your hands if you handle toads. No, bants! No, giant bants! No, giant bants! No, get out of your giant bants! Get out, giant bants! Alright, now we got some battle vet violence. Ooh, Millionaire's Key. Well, now we can fight the Millionaire's Bane. Oh no, ant! Oh, whoa. Now we got Marbus. Oh, we got the Silver Wolfman shard right away. Nice. Alright, these 2 enemies, drop, vital materials for the in the end game. Wait, do I want to grind those out? I definitely need a drain shard. It's a good thing, Alright, I do know a slightly better spot to, grind those enemies out, though. So don't worry about that. So I won't worry about that right now. Yeah, Dominique was trying, set everybody up. Yeah, now that you mention it, Dominique, basically was trying to, trying to get Sengetsu to go after, Alfred. Since Alfred was, in the desert, right? And then Sengetsu was like, nah, I'm gonna go with Miriam, on the train. Yeah, that's probably why, Dominique was trying to... Dominique might have been trying to keep us away from that particular area, seeing as she was kind of doing some experiments. Yeah, in fact, I have a theory that, the doppelganger, yeah, that was kind of made by Dominique. Yeah, that was kind of made by Dominique by basically, using research that she basically, kind of manipulated Johannes into basically revealing, basically. Yes, and she was basically, using shard, since, Dominique did learn how to become a shardbinder because of that. Oh, Alexandrite. We are gonna need that. Oh, I remember this. Alright, I will be taking off my vampiric skin suit for a little bit. Alright, now, and I will be putting on... Let's see, wasn't there an item that boosts speed? Yeah, increased movement speed. I remember there being an item that does that. And we just have to beat the ninja in the foot race. Luckily the Aegis plate, you know, makes it a little bit easier. Since, you know, it's obviously a trap-filled obstacle course. Alright, we win. Alright, now, what do we win? Alright, we won. You know, this ninja, I guess he does count as an enemy, but, you know, it's not like he's hostile. In fact, you know, after he loses the race, he kind of, you know, has a heart attack or something. Sort of like when Mario fails to catch the rabbits, you know, in Super Mario Galaxy. Yeah, you guys remember any stage where he has to, you know, capture bunnies? Yeah, I don't know why Mario just decides to have a heart attack for some reason, but, you know, I guess he does. probably, you know, his hearty, you know, appetite for mushrooms is not very good for him. You know, he kind of eats a high-carb diet. You know, Mario does eat a pretty high-carb diet, yeah, not gonna lie. Mario, high-carb diet. You know, not very healthy. You know, he likes to eat, he likes to eat lots of shrooms. Yeah, he likes to eat lots of really like mushrooms, and then he kind of took it slow in his body, yeah. Man, I'm gonna miss, you know, I'm gonna miss being able to play Mario games. Man, if Nintendo's gonna go in its current direction, I'm gonna kind of miss, you know, being able to play Nintendo games. Unfortunately, they're kind of determined to price themselves out of the market, I guess. Remember when Nintendo said they were gonna be, you know, make their consoles, you know, cheap so that, you know, so that families could afford them? Not in this economy, apparently. Oh, I've done it. Oh, I'll be familiar. Alright, maybe I better not, you know, complain about Switch 2. I mean, electronics are getting more expensive, but jeez. Yeah, but everything else attached to it is just pure greed. Yeah, greedflation. Oh wow, Fiend Fang. Oh wait, alright, I have the speed up shirt, don't I? Alright, now I have the ability to go fast? Well, that was a load of shit, yeah. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking with that kind of boneheaded decision. Alright, I do need Fiend Fangs, Fiend Pelts, and, you know... Oh, there we go, another Wolfman Shard. Which, you know, it does allow you to go... Oh, there we go. Alright, there's one of the Drain Shards. I mean, Drain is a very good ability, but unfortunately, it's kind of at the end of the game. If only it were a little sooner. I Captain Black Pearl Cookie will never... My Captain Black Pearl Cookie will never give a dime no more. That's fine, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I need like the 2 cents. I need like the 2 cents, and also, you know, Twitch, you know, insist on, you know, fighting all the fighting against, you know, ad blockers for some reason. Yeah, they're kind of forced, unfortunately. Yeah, it's like, do I want to? Yeah, they're kind of forced. They're kind of forced, sadly. Yeah, ever since I became an affiliate, they're kind of forced, really. Alright, now take out all the enemies. Man, I'm gonna miss, you know, being able to afford Nintendo games. Oh, whoa, I'm kind of out of MP, aren't I? No, whoops. Yeah, I'm out of MP. I'm out of MP because I spammed too much lightning. I think I spammed a little too much lightning. Alright, maybe I better not keep attacking. They seal their fates the moment they fuck us all over. Yeah, I kinda wish that were the case. I kinda wish there was consequences for greed, but you know, that is very unlikely, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's not kind of how the real world works, unfortunately. Although I like to think that, you know, I like to think that if you fuck people over a little bit too much, it will eventually make them too angry. It will eventually make them super angry, yeah. So maybe it's more of a consequence of, you know, bad karma or something. Yeah, it seems like a good way to, you know, kind of get bad karma on your side. Yeah, that's kind of not good. Yeah, yeah, the thing was, which one was amazing? You know, Nintendo, you know, really blew everybody out of the water with, you know, Switch 1. And then, you know, they decided, you know, to do whatever they did with Switch 2. Which is like the... Alright, now. Alright, Dragon Hearts. I do need Dragon Hearts. Wait, don't I need a Dragon Heart for my Succubus outfit? Pretty sure I needed that. Wait, how many of those do I need? Alright, maybe I should... Alright, now. Alright, now. Alright, now. Yeah, like it. Alright, now. I will say in the game industry, you know, greed definitely has a very negative effect since, you know, word of mouth does spread pretty quickly if, you know, you try to screw people over. Unfortunately, since, you know, it's kind of a big part of the... Since, you know, it kind of does spread all over the internet. Yeah. Yeah, greed is probably one of the worst things, you know, ever invented. Yeah, whoever decide... Yeah, I kind of wish it would go away. Fortunately, we are not allowed to have nice things, unfortunately. Oh well, at least Bloodstained, you know, kind of delivered on what it, you know, promised and set out to do. But yeah, I might, you know, start becoming, you know, more of an indie game. I might, you know, start investing more in indie games. So it seems like some of them are doing a little bit better job than, you know, the AAAs anyway. Yeah, let's face it, let's face it, you know, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was okay and everything. But, you know, Pal World is basically superior in every way. And Nintendo, you know, decided, you know, hey, we're gonna make, you know, anti-competition. We're gonna, you know, just try to sue people for competing with us. Unfortunate. Yeah, although, you know, they're not gonna be able to stop all the Pokemon clones, basically. You know, a lot of them are doing it, and a lot of them are doing a lot better than... And a lot of the ones that are inspired by Pokemon are a lot better than, you know, Pokemon anyway. You know what's a good game that's an alternative to Pokemon? Cassette-based. You know, cassette-based, you know, cassette-based, you know, that's a, you know, Pokemon clone that's, you know, better. That's better than Pokemon. You know, Digimon story games are, you know, better than Pokemon. Yeah, you know, yeah, the Digimon story games were kind of made for the we're kind of made with the PSP, you know, and all that, so they're better than Pokemon. Yeah, they're better than Pokemon, yeah. Alright, over here is a Valkyrie Tiara. Alright, now, this seems like a job for, you know, spamming pork. Alright, now. Right now, we need a good shard. Alright, now I will take Augment Ent. Alright, now. Alright, spam pigs. Alright, spam pigs. Oh, he's going for the poker chips. Alright, he's going for the gold steal. No, he's healing himself up by stealing my gold. No, I'm loaded with gold. No! That's not good. Now I'm loaded up with gold. Uh-oh, he's going for the... Alright, he's trying to slam into me. Oh no, ow, 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 I'm getting squeezed! I'm getting squeezed! Oh no, I'm getting squeezed! Alright, now I'm getting a little bit squeezed here. Alright, now, good thing I got all these pizzas! Oh no, he's going for the poker chips. Ow, oh wow, wow, he kind of crushes me with the poker chips. Now, watch out for his fist slam. Now, watch out for the fist slam. Alright, there we go, got him. Alright, another adversary purified. Another adversary successfully pure. All bets are off. We beat the Duke of High Rollers. Alright, now. I mean, if Kamani doesn't want to make doesn't want to make Castlevania games anymore, that's fine with me. Yeah, I'm gonna miss, Castlevania. Yeah, boy, yeah, I'm sure gonna miss, I'm gonna miss Castlevania, and, I'm gonna miss Castlevania, yeah. Granted, Kamani did, do the right things with releasing, the Dominus Collection. And, somebody at Kamani, was nice enough to, kind of, make it so that, the bugs in the game were kind of, in the official version. So that they kind of, repatched in bugs that, made speedrunning, kind of good. Yeah, they put in that one bug that, they put that one bug in, yeah, so... Maybe there's hope for Kamani yet. But, yeah, I'm gonna kind of miss, Castlevania and all that from them. Yeah, I'm gonna miss, I'm gonna miss any Castlevanias that aren't, gonna be in collections or, just... Or, just, or just, gotcha games. Yeah, I'm gonna miss one. I missed it. I missed a time where new Castlevanias weren't predatory gotcha games. And kind of yeah, I still want that. I still want that War of 19. I still want that 1999 Demon War game. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen. Sadly, I'm not too hopeful about that happening. Sadly, I'm not too hopeful about that particular game happening. Yeah, I was like, super hyped up for a while. When, because, all the GBA Castlevania and DS Castlevanias were like, War of 1999, War of 1999. It's gonna be like this big event that's, gonna blow everything out of the water. And then, Lord of Shadows happened. And then, Lords of Shadow happened, and, because Kamani was convinced that, people weren't, in the market for, 2D Castlevanias. Yeah, yeah, people clearly don't want, 2D Castlevanias anymore. So we're gonna release it, we're gonna, make, Castlevania into a God of War clone. That's definitely, yeah. Meanwhile, there's like a million successful indie games that are inspired by, 2D Castlevania. Pretty much this game basically is Castlevania if it were, this game is made... Oh, please tell me it's not gonna storm right now. No. Alright, no, it's gonna storm, isn't it? Alright, I better go zip zoom over to a save point, yeah. Alright, looks like things are about to storm right now, so I'm gonna zip zoom right over to a warp point. Alright, I keep running into enemies. Yeah, it's definitely looking like there's gonna be a... Alright, it's starting to storm up a little bit. Alright, wedges. Oh, yeah. Hey, Quirked Up Rat Girl, thank you for raiding! Thank you, Bat, what you... Bat, what do you get? Hi there, Quirked Up Rat Girl, thank you for raiding! I highly appreciate that, that's very nice of you.
So, what'll it be?
Alright, maybe... Oh, wait. Alright, what do I need for the final upgrade for... Wait, what do I need? Oh, I need Fiend Skull. Ooh. Alright, Fiend Skull's gonna be... That's, you know, one of the... That's an endgame item. Now, funny enough, I am at the end. Alright, now I might as well, you know, upgrade, you know, I might as well upgrade my Succubus outfit. Right, can it be... I don't think it can be upgraded any further. I don't think it can be upgraded any further, sadly. Right now... Alright, I'm still a far...
I've learned that
Yeah, to create a catalyst stopping time that must have taken upon years.
upon years, he only had time. Because, to put it, if all the crystals
I'm not sure if
with blood would be
Yeah, Shardbinder's fire did bring a lot of tragedy, unfortunately.
Alfred,
it sounds.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's looking like it's gonna be kind of stormy right now, so... I'm gonna have to call it quits, unfortunately. I highly appreciate the raid, Quirked Up Rat Girl, but, you know, yeah, things are looking a little stormy, so... I, unfortunately, have to, you know, call it quits, sadly. However, I will probably, you know, I'll probably use the time to, you know, grind a little bit. Right now... How about we go raid... Yeah, let's go raid Surzak real quick. Yeah, I'm basically almost done with the game anyway. Oh well, I can just use this as an opportunity to grind out all the shards, basically. Yeah, I did run into Ice Elemental, so I can get that. Oh well, see ya, Nimani, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want the power to, you know, just get knocked out. And then, you know, I'm kind of out of a stream, and you know... That would not be good. Moonbat raid. Remember to fly like bat and shine like the moon, okay? For weirder stuff dreams are made of. Goodbye.